now, as you've created your whole own product line, and now you have to be the face of it after years of working for these insane, companies, kind of more behind the scenes. How has that been for you?
It's not easy. I will tell you. I mean, there was a reason I was a really good second banana. It's my comfort zone is to be more behind the scenes. And I was much more operational, make it happen.
Like more of the producer making it happen.
The producer and having the vision for the brands, but having someone who had more, ability to be a megaphone, be the face of the brand. So whether that was Bobbi Brown or Tom Ford or Victoria Beckham, I was their partner, or in the case of Bobbi, I was her head of product development and marketing.
Amazing.
But, I was not forward facing.
Right.
And now I am. And
right.
So, I mean, it's got its challenges. I don't have the skills of being a content creator. So,
but those are that's like a muscle, I've been told.
Yes.
Like, at least I feel like I've said this on this podcast before, but Eva Chen, who works at Instagram, who's like around our age and not someone that grew up with social media, has always said like social media and influencing is like working a muscle. Like, you can get better at it, and it will come more naturally, but you just have to continue to do it and be consistent and think about it all the time, which for me is is hard.
Yes.
Because consistency in general is just hard for me. But for you, like, what was the point for you where you were like, it is time for me to go out on my own and make my own thing?
I mean, after I left Victoria Beckham, I knew I was going to do something on my own, but I didn't think I was going to do my own brand.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, oh, I have to do my own brand. Because the reality is, I know the beauty industry. I've been in it for 30 years, and I know how tough it is. So I, frankly, did not have an idea. So I was like, okay. I was getting a lot of phone calls from different celebrities because I had done so many lines for, sort of big names.
Yeah.
And I was not getting excited about it, and they were really big names. And I was like, you know what, Sarah, if you can't get excited about this, it's clear you've got to do something different. You've got to move on. So then I was just kind of taking some consulting things. I was helping some people come up with some ideas and brands and architectures and things like that. And then one morning, it was December of 2022.
Okay.
And I literally sat up in bed. I was sound asleep. It was a Monday morning. I sat up in bed, and I had been dreaming about it. And I was like, why is no one talking to me? I was like, why is no one in the luxury beauty space educating me, formulating for me, and reflecting me back to me in a way that I find aspirational and compelling? It just
wasn't happening
at all. So I was seeing things, like a 20-year-old, a 30-year-old. And then I would see an older woman who would have inevitably gray hair and lots of wrinkles.
There was the middle age was not being covered at all.
Right.
I'm finding that as I'm about to be 40 next year. I feel like I say that also on this podcast every single episode. It's just like when it's around the corner, you think about it a lot.
You do.
It's what's on my mind. But I'm like, I see everything that's being marketed to me from the beauty brands that I want to the products that I want to buy, the models, yes, are not 40 plus. And so when I'm seeing these faces, I'm like, oh, that's achievable. Like, I'll look like that. But then I get it, and how it's applied on my type of skin and how it is so much different. Our skin changes.
It totally changes.
Yeah.
It totally changes.
Yeah.
And the reality, I can tell you as a product developer, is that the formulas need to change.
Right.
I mean, it's super interesting developing all of these formulas for women 40 plus. The bar is so much higher because the skin is different. The topography of the skin changes. You start getting thinner skin. You get lines and, fine lines first, and then you get wrinkles and,
There's so many more roadblocks.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the skin, right. And the skin is sort of rubbing on itself because of the lines. You're getting folds, so that impacts wear. And also your routine has changed.
Right.
From the time that you were, 20 or 25 and you're barely using any skincare, to the point where I am now at 54. I'm using all of my products now, but just roughly speaking, I'm using a moisturizer, I'm using a sunscreen,
Yeah,
I'm
5
using
to
an eye
10
cream.
products.
Right.
Yes.
And so that more complex routine also impacts the ability for products to wear on you. And most companies, and I can tell you from being on the inside, I mean, they're really not saying like, okay, we really need to make sure this works for a woman 40 plus.
Well, what are they thinking about then, though? Aren't they looking at the demographics of who's buying the product and then trying to market towards those?
Yeah.
Like,
No.
No.
Not so much.
Okay.
No.
It's like what's just going to look the prettiest.
It's really what's going to look, and I'm, this is a podcast, I'm putting on air quotes on prettiest because, what my vision is now of prettiest and having done some campaigns now with we only photograph women 40 plus.
Makes sense, yeah.
And my vision of what is pretty has really changed because I see these women as, they have experience. They are fully formed human beings. Doing a photo shoot with these women, with these products, before we had even launched was so fun.
I bet.
Because they were
have
like,
full
this
personalities.
Yes, and they were like, this mascara is amazing. Can I keep it? I've never had lashes like this. Can I keep it? And I just, it's just so much more fun. And
you could probably feel from them how necessary it was.
Yes.
Like I just did my mom's makeup yesterday, actually.
Okay.
Like funny timing for all of this, and I was using my makeup on her, and she hasn't, like, no one's marketing to her either. This is like exactly for her, and she had no idea how to use all my new makeup that I had, like my cream blushes, and she just like was so in the dark, and I was like, oh my God, this is a whole forgotten group of people that still really want to feel good about themselves.
Yes.
That are mostly not really feeling good about themselves.
Right.
Like, I don't want to generalize, but yeah.
Well, I mean, look at all of the messages that we're getting in this generation. It's like you're not being shown because the subliminal messages, because you're not beautiful, you're not pretty enough, and you get to a certain age, and we're just going to forget about you.
Right.
And like, that is just bullshit.
Yeah, and that's what woke you up in the middle of the night and was like, I have to do this.
Yes, and I was like, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah, so what has been harder for you, having your own brand or working with these other, like, huge companies and personalities?
Oh, definitely working with other
the personality.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Because, there's not necessarily any rhyme or reason when, personalities have personalities.
There can be ego involved.
Right.
Yeah.
There always is. I mean, we're human beings, and human beings are messy.
I really try to leave ego out of when it comes to business. That's all. I feel like that was something my dad taught me when I was younger. I think it's so important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's super important. But, it doesn't always happen, and so that was for sure more challenging.
Yeah.
This is for sure more enjoyable.
I bet. Because, I mean, you're the boss, and it's your creative vision.
That's right.
Yeah. But it's also a lot more pressure on you, right? Or do you feel like it's
I mean, it is.
comparable?
Oh, it's totally bearable.
No, I mean, like, comparable.
Oh, sorry.
Like, do you feel like there was more pressure when you were in charge of a whole team, like, and had essentially a boss or a partner, or do you feel more pressure now?
I feel more pressure now because I feel personal responsibility.
Yeah.
For all of these people that we're sending these products to and who are buying these products. I feel like, this is really my own personal vision of what I can do for them. Like, what is the product development that I can actually do for these people? And this is my best effort.
Yeah.
This is 30 years of my best effort out there.
Yeah. Well, getting into that experience before we get into the product, because I want to play with it all.
Yeah.
But how did you get started? What was the road to working in this industry and being so, into product and then ending up working for these amazing companies?
Well, I had an aha moment when I was 13. And I would...
Very early to have an aha moment, but
early,
so lucky.
So early and so lucky,
Yeah.
I went to these drugstores, like, in my hometown. I would go... There was one particular drugstore that I went into that was next to my dad's architectural firm.
Okay.
I would go in on Saturdays. He'd would be doing his drawings, I would go in and I was looking at the wall and I would see all of these mascaras, and I had a lot of time on my hands. Yeah. I would look at the ingredients and compare them, and one day I realized, I was like, the only difference in this is the brush. I'm like, and this has to be someone's job, you know, picking the brush. And I'm like, I want this job. I would love to have this job because I just loved makeup. So that was kind of the start. And then I went to college. I majored in British literature. My dad, again, said to me, he was like, listen, you want to get into marketing and makeup? You can do that after you graduate. You can learn anything about marketing, you know?
Same as me. I ended up, I went to USC and majored in gender studies.
Okay.
And then went into fashion. So I was like, whatever. He was like, you can learn fashion, you can do extra schooling, or just like go for it and do it. But yeah, exactly. And I'm so thankful that I ended up studying British literature and English, because there's a lot of storytelling that happens in beauty. And human beings, we're all interested in stories. Completely.
And I love to tell stories. It's like one of my things that I just love to do. So anyway, it's all come in handy.
Totally.
And, you know, my dad was right about that in some ways, but in other ways, not so much. So I graduate, you know, from this prestigious school, and it's the recession. It's 1991, and the only job that anybody is interested in hiring me for is sales. And so I ended up taking a job for Clinique at Bergdorf Goodman at the counter.
Amazing.
And it was amazing.
Yeah,
I was
bet.
actually totally psyched.
Yeah.
And my dad, for the first time, was like, oh, okay.
This is what this looks like.
What you're gonna do. And I was like,
your dream looks like.
And I said to him, I was like, if you have any contacts in the beauty industry, now would be the time to tell me.
Totally.
You know? And he was like, okay, no, I got nothing.
Yeah.
So I started
You're
that,
on your own,
and
kid. Yeah.
and I loved it.
I
You know,
bet.
I was in. I was like, I had gotten my foot in the door.
Bergdorf's is actually such an amazing place to get started. Like, I feel like obviously makeup artists these days have social media and they utilize that to get themselves out there. But my favorite makeup artist ever, who unfortunately left LA, started also at Bergdorf Goodman's. Her name is Phoebe Ogan. She's not like a major, but
you just love her.
I just love her.
Yeah.
Her touch, and she's a painter. She's an artist. She's just so talented. Anyways, love this. So Clinique, Bergdorf's.
So Clinique, Bergdorf's. And
the clientele, I'm sure, was amazing.
Oh,
and the
amazing. And actually, I think it really informed my whole journey about focusing on the consumer. You know, because they would come in and they were coming to Clinique, so they had usually sensitive skin. They liked that it was dermatology founded and tested, you know, dermatologist tested and founded.
I remember when I had acne, it was like what my mom took me to get.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But then at Bergdorf Goodman, you figure New York, type A personalities with a lot of money. They were coming in like they knew more than I did about skin, you know, so I had to kind of get up to speed if I was going to make a sale, which is what I was being judged on.
Right.
You know?
And making a commission off of.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
So I learned a lot. I taught myself a lot. And,
That's amazing.
you know, just that's really what started me on my journey. But, you know, then you fast forward, here we are literally like 30 years later.
Yeah.
You
that's
know,
crazy.
and I'm doing this line, right? My own brand. But the first thing, after I woke up that morning with that idea, first I called my now co-founder, Jill.
Okay.
And I said to her, I was like, okay, I might be still asleep. I don't know. I don't really know, but I don't think this exists. You know, does this exist where there's a brand that is formulating for and educating, you know, women 40 plus? And she was like, no, it doesn't exist. But the very next thing we did was we surveyed 2,000 women over the age of 40. And that's really what I wanted to do. I just wanted to know. I mean, first of all, again,
what was missing?
What was missing?
Yeah.
What were their pain points? What was, you know, did they feel they were being represented in beauty? I didn't think so, but did they? You know, did they have a hard time finding products that worked for them? I thought they would have a hard time, but did they? You know, so it's always good to check your own thinking and check your own bias,
Completely.
just to see. But it did come back overwhelmingly. 99% of them thought that a brand like this was a great idea. So
amazing.
Which you would think would have translated into like getting investment like that, but
Of course, but
no.
I mean, is that why do you think that is? Is that because this industry is sort of like very saturated? Like, what have the pain points been there?
In terms of investment?
Yeah.
No, I think it's the overall investment community, and it's shifting. It is moving, but the face of investment has largely been male.
Yeah.
And, I met with a lot of investors, relatively quickly after having this idea and testing the hypothesis and starting to work in the product and make the architecture of the brand. And in general, I was getting questions. They weren't really questions. They were more statement questions.
Yeah.
Like, I already know the answer, but I'm going to ask you anyway.
Totally.
And it was like, I mean, do you think that older women really want to look at other older women? And one guy actually said, I don't think that older women want to look at other older women. They find younger women more aspirational. And I was like, dude.
I mean, here's what I'll say. I think that I love to look at younger women and look at beauty. But when it comes to my purchasing and who's influencing me, like I love the makeup artist that started RMS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Rosemary.
Yes, Rosemary.
Yeah.
She
Yeah, she's
when I
amazing.
see makeup on her skin, even though she's even much older than me, that feels like, oh, if that looks good on her, like that will probably look great on me, and that
100%.
makes me feel more connected to it. So, I get both sides, but I mean, I also think I'm about to. I've never actually gone out and tried to raise money before. I'm about to do that for the first time.
Good for you. Yeah.
And I don't know. It's really, I know nothing about it, so I can imagine it's a really scary thing to go out and do.
Well,
but
I'm happy to help you.
Please.
Honestly, if you need any help,
Please.
because it is daunting.
Yeah.
By far the hardest thing in this entire journey of doing my own brand
in the process,
is that. And and who you choose is really, really important.
completely.
I just can't even emphasize that enough, because these are the people that you are partnered with. It's like a marriage, and you really need to have a good
feeling about it.
Yes, you have to
Yeah.
have a common vision, a common roadmap, and they really need to respect your vision.
Completely. And you need to trust your gut, I
Yes.
feel like, too.
Always.
You always, even if there's something that's like intangible or you can't,
Doesn't matter.
it's like just connect to that. Yeah.
That's absolutely true. Absolutely true.
Yeah, so let's go through some of the products because
yeah.
it looks so fun. And I
Yes.
feel like I need this lip product right now because my lips are so like dry. So tell me, so I got the Lip Grip Line Filler.
Yes.
Peptide Primer Treatment.
Yes.
So this is before you put anything on your lips.
This is before you put on anything. It has peptides. Which
Is it okay that I'm using this? just
yeah,
straight
this
on?
is 100% for you.
Okay.
So this is excellent. I actually came up with this idea and launched it with the
so
Speak
nice.
for Yourself lipstick.
Okay.
So it's a balm base, but it has a honey-like polymer in it that grips the pigment that you're going to put down after, whether it's even a tinted balm or it's a full-on lipstick, whatever it is. But this is something that as you get older, you get these micro lines.
I have them
and
everywhere.
you need, when you're wearing something that has more pigment, you really need something to kind of grip it and also treat your lips.
To like blur the lines
That's right.
a little bit.
That's right.
I know.
That's right.
Because the overlining doesn't really do it, because then you kind of see it even more.
Yes, because the liner itself will bleed.
Right. Right.
So I did
this
what
color's
is
so pretty.
considered a really clear liner. Yeah, and Speak for Yourself lipsticks. But this is something that, everything I do is formulated with this client in mind. So this is a hydrating lipstick.
Okay.
It keeps hydration in your lips for 6 hours.
Amazing.
And it just makes them feel really good.
It does.
It's like a
It feels-
balm lipstick.
Yeah, it's like velvety.
Yes.
It doesn't feel I don't even. I usually have to put something on top of my lipstick because the lipsticks are too matte,
Yes.
and then the lines show.
Yep.
Have you found as you've gotten older that product doesn't stay on your skin as long?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
because I'm finding that too.
This is so funny because you know, the elevator pitch of what Sarah Creal, the brand, is a line of luxury essentials across skincare and makeup with a focus on wear, repair, and moisturization for babes 40 plus. Like, that's what it is.
Yeah.
And this was something that, as a developer, it's the hardest thing to do, is to combine wear with moisture because they fight each other. So it's been within the formulations, building them a certain way to get both, like in the Face Flex, which is a concealer and complexion perfector.
Amazing. Is that all you have on your skin right now?
That's all.
Besides,
I
like,
have
some
this
blush.
and this. I have this and this,
Okay.
and a blush,
Yeah.
and a lip.
Yeah.
No, this is my absolute go-to now for my complexion product. But it's the Lipstick Lesbians just gave it a shout out for the BI sale at Sephora, which is unbelievable. They're like, we've been wearing this on repeat nonstop since we got it, because, you know, once you get to a point where your under eye is a little thin, you need something that is also actually quite thin in its film. And that's what this is. This has hyaluronic acid in it.
Amazing.
Okay, so it's giving you
like a really sheer tint, but but good
it's
coverage.
actually coverage.
Yeah.
But it's in a thin film, and you put it on this part of your thumb, which has lots and lots of lines, so you can really give it a good test. This is when you go and look for concealer in general, you should put it here.
Okay. Oh,
okay?
that's a good. So we're putting it on like the thumb, like palm part of our hand.
Exactly.
That's okay. So you always put it on that side, like for color and for texture. You mean like it's most similar to our face, kind of?
It's for texture. When you're having, you know, like if you have, you know, fine lines and you're trying to find a concealer, this is a really good place to put it, because you will see, like you can see how this sort of fills in.
Yeah, how it settles
And
into.
it fills in lines.
Yeah.
But then it has this finish that just blurs everything out. It's going to set, but it's very thin. Like you don't see.
And it's moisturizing while it's on your skin.
While it's on your skin.
Yeah.
And this has a 12-hour crease-proof claim.
Amazing.
And it also, because I clinically test everything, which is also a big difference, I feel, because
most companies don't clinically test.
Not in makeup so much. And I just found, you know, I'd love for everybody to just believe me.
Of course.
But no, and they shouldn't, you know? And so, no, I test everything, and this, and you kind of hold your breath as a product developer. I do. I hold my breath.
Yeah, waiting to see how it will dry.
How will it test?
Yeah.
You know, because you don't know.
Of course.
But this came back that where you put this, wherever you apply it, 12 hours later, 93% of it is still there.
That's amazing.
Yes.
That is really amazing, because I like a lot of skincare before I put my makeup on, because I just like a more dewy, moisturized look.
Yes.
But then because of that, I feel like then it wears off.
Yes.
Like my blush is probably almost gone, but is it gone?
Right. No, it's not.
Okay,
it's
that's
not.
good.
It's not.
Yeah.
But
I kind of like I want it. I would love it to last longer without
Yes.
having to do like a setting spray that then makes me feel even more dewy.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. No, that is my challenge.
So this is all over your face.
So
this
this
is
is-
not just under your eyes. This is all over your face.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
How do you apply it to yourself? Because I'm very much like a
With this.
dot,
Yes.
and then, a small.
So I use this. It's a complexion brush that I developed that specifically, exactly. It's, you know,
So
you don't
soft.
need to use the complexion brush, but that feeling of like, ooh,
Yes.
is for me, it's like a little luxury that I
Yeah.
want. You know, I just want
Yes.
that, and I want that for other women.
Totally. While they're putting on their makeup, like
yes.
why not have it be a nice,
Yes.
enjoyable experience?
Right. And it makes
Yeah.
it easier. It does. It's easier. It's a little faster using a brush.
I like that it's not so dense, so I feel like it probably just blurs it really nicely.
Yes, it just because Face Flex really just melts into the skin. You'll see it melts, and then it's just sets.
So it doesn't need like a lot
no.
of pushing.
No.
And
It's
okay.
not. It's not a heavy product, and it's in this sort of small container because a little goes so far.
Oh, that's amazing.
So I would say to you, when you use this, just use much less than you think you're going to need.
Okay.
Because otherwise you're going to have like a full coverage, which is fine if that's what you want. You will have full coverage, full makeup.
Right.
Before you know it.
Right.
Because it really, I mean, it just stretches.
A little goes a long way. So just up to your discretion,
Yes.
like what kind of coverage you like.
Yes.
Amazing.
100%.
Okay, and then talk to me about this cute orange thing right here.
Well, I think we should we talk about this first? Because
Let's.
this is the first step, and you being like super glowy girl, I think you're gonna love this. Okay, this is, it's called
packaging is
Moisture
so
Source.
Beautiful.
Well, you know, we wanted the packaging to, first of all, be exciting and interesting, but also to telegraph what is it that it does. So Moisture Source looks like a cold drink of water. The Firm Offer is brightening, and it's really, you know, it's like a lighter.
That is so cute.
It's super
Looks
cute.
like a little lighter mix of pill case.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And then the Brilliant Repair Shield is an SPF 50, and it looks like a sun.
Oh, that's amazing.
You know, and so it's all really subtle, and I think
really
the
cute.
packaging is really,
The packaging
it's
is
luxury,
amazing.
but it's also fun. But this is Brilliant Repair Shield. So this is an SPF 50 that also is its skin tint. It gives you a little bit of a glow.
So nice.
It's a serum, which this is a patented zinc oxide. I went to this scientist who owns this patent and developed this formulation because his zinc oxide, he has created a way of treating it that makes it almost clear. And I really wanted to have one
as opposed to
product-
white.
As opposed to white.
Yeah.
As opposed to that horrible white cast.
Yeah.
So, and I wanted something that could be used on the darkest skin tones. So that's what this is. And you can look at our website, sarahcrealbeauty.com, and you can see on the P page, like on the product page, a woman by the name of Ovo, who is just stunning and beautiful and has a skin color that is number 10, which is a very deep skin tone. And she puts this on in video. And you can't cheat video,
Right,
You know,
right.
Like, I'm like, I want to see this on video
I
because
bet she glows and it's perfect.
It does. She does,
Yeah.
and it's just amazing. And
That's really
you know,
amazing.
When I was talking to the scientist, he was like, you know, what do you think is the hardest thing about doing a sunscreen? And I was like, I don't know. I'm like, is it the white cast? And he was like, it's getting people to put it on.
No way. Still?
Yes, because it, you know, like a lot
Even
of
for
sunscreen,
40 plus?
Yes,
Like
I mean-
I thought that this demographic would be very versed in sunscreen.
not as much. I feel like younger people really are, you know, more.
Yeah.
They've gotten. I think
Because they're
also-
watching social media and being sold everything, they're very into their process, their routines.
And also
yeah.
that sunscreens have come a long way. So they don't have the initial impression that maybe people in my generation have of like it's sticky, it's white, it's heavy, it's oddly both oily and powdery.
I think
you know?
people are also confused because there's now these tinted products that are kind of like they give some sort of coverage, and you know, I think people are confused about where to put it in their steps.
Yes.
So then they're like, I'm
Yes.
just not going to do it.
Yeah.
So what would you recommend? Like for you right now, it's a sunny day in LA.
Yes.
You are wearing, I'm sure, a moisturizer.
I'm wearing Moisture Source.
Moisture
I
Source.
start with this.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a liquid moisturizer. So this is a thing that people, I say like, this looks like many things, but
Yeah, I would think it was a
acts-
toner.
I know, but it acts like no other. No, this is like juicy, moisturized skin. One application keeps moisture in the skin for 24 hours.
How do you apply on a cotton pad or in your hands?
right on your fingers.
Oh my God.
You want to give it a go?
Yeah, I'll put it in my hands.
Okay, so you take like 5 drops and it goes right in.
Into the skin.
Yeah, because it's a dual phase. So no fragrance.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah,
like,
no fragrance.
very-
It's just the pure ingredients. So it's an oil phase that you can see on top when you have not shaken it. The oil
Okay.
comes to the top, and then there's a water phase on the bottom. The water phase has hyaluronic acid, right, at a really high level. It has niacinamide, which is brightening, and it has peptides for firming.
Amazing.
Then you seal everything in with this squalane, which is derived from olives.
Love squalane.
Yeah, it's a beautiful ingredient.
Yeah.
And that's your moisturizer. And the thing was, what I realized from that research that we did, women were like, I can't keep moisture in my skin anymore. Because as you get older, your moisture barrier is depleted, it's compromised really. So you can't keep moisture in the skin as well. You need things that really do it for you. And this I created taking binders out of the equation. So binders are the thing that make a cream look like a cream. They're the thing that make the oil phase and the water phase come together.
Got it.
Okay? Gives you a cream and you're like, oh, that's beautiful. And that's
Right,
going to
so
really
whipped and
moisturize.
luxurious
Right.
and
It's going to
creamy.
so moisturize me.
Yeah.
But the reality is that those binders often, if you can picture, they are kind of sticky. They can stick on top of the skin and prevent all of those actives and the moisture
from actually going in. I know. I hate moisturizers that you can still that you feel on the top of your skin.
Right.
Yeah.
And I formulated this entire line for the moisture to go where it's meant to go.
Amazing.
Which is inside. So even when you use moisture source first, you put that all over your face, on your neck, your décolleté. Then you go with Firm Offer. Okay, which is a very lightly pigmented. I'm just going to show you here. You need half a pump for 2 eyes. Okay, for both eyes.
Okay.
And you can also use your complexion brush if you'd like to, or you just use your finger. And this is a firming, moisturizing. Again, it holds moisture in the skin for 24 hours also, because it's, this moisture in both Moisture Source and Firm Offer, it's going in. It's really penetrating. It's putting the moisture where you actually need it.
So it's actually working on your skin while you're,
Yes, you don't need moisture floating and slipping around your face. That's not what we need.
You want it to go into your pores.
Right, into your skin and really plump the skin and make it juicy from the inside out. So you follow with Firm Offer. Then I put Brilliant Repair Shield, SPF 50.
Okay, amazing.
This is my daily routine.
Yeah.
And I created this line by what I was hearing from all of these women, what they were missing.
The items that they were missing the most in their routines.
Yes, I want a sunscreen that I want to wear, which is what I put on the box.
I know, and it's so cute, the packaging, and it's like perfect for your like toiletry bag or travel.
Yes, it's extremely portable.
Yes.
Super cute. And so then that just goes on top, and it's this illuminating serum, so it can sort of even your complexion as it's creating this protective barrier.
Okay.
It also has bakuchiol in it, which is a bioretinol, safe for use in the sun.
Amazing.
And so it's really giving you that repair, and it's also diminishing free radicals by 85%. So it's actually a stronger free radical scavenger than a vitamin C, a green tea, or a vitamin E.
Amazing.
So yeah, it's a really powerhouse skincare formulation.
Amazing.
But who cares about all that? It's like, do you look great?
Yeah. but all that stuff is important in making it look great.
That's
for
right.
sure.
That's
but
right.
the packaging is so cute. The last thing, the mascara. I love this.
This
I love it.
is
it's
like the thing
so
that I'm
Tiffany,
most proud of. Yeah.
I need a new mascara.
Oh,
I'm like, can I please have
fantastic.
this? Talk to me about this, because I noticed when I was doing my mom's makeup yesterday, her eyelashes are so short and wispy and going in a million different directions.
Right.
And then I have a suggestion for you for your next product. But talk to me about this mascara.
Okay, so I'm super proud about this, because any developer knows a mascara is one of the hardest formulas to create. Because, it's one of the hardest products, because you have several things that are impacting the overall performance, what you get at the end. What are you giving to a consumer? And it's the formula that's inside, obviously, right?
Yeah.
That's a no-brainer. And then it's the brush, which this one I designed specifically for older women, because you can't have a big fat brush anymore.
No.
It's getting all over your eyelids, under your eyes, it's just super challenging. So this is a tapered, modified hourglass brush.
Okay.
So you can get all of your baby lashes with the narrow end, and then you can also fan the outer lashes with the wider end.
Amazing.
But you've got the brush, then you've got what's called the wiper, which is inside and determines how much bulk, how much of the formula comes out each time you pull the wand
important.
out. It's so important.
I never thought about that. But I've been usually honestly wiping off my wands every time before I apply, because just like too much comes out.
Right, because the wipe's not tight enough. Right, but you can't have the wipe too tight. Then you're feeling frustrated. It's not building enough.
Right.
All of that. And then the fourth thing is the actual diameter of the tube. And what I love is a tube that's more narrow versus a wide tube, because it's actually pushing the bulk into the brush and really getting the bulk penetrating into the brush all the way to the rod. So, which is great, because then you have an even distribution of product.
Completely. And right, if it were like a little bit bigger and bulkier, does the product then maybe get dried out faster?
It gets dried out faster, and it's more on the walls.
This is so interesting. But I see how you light up when you talk about this, so I totally get. It's like the 13-year-old you comes out. So
it is. It's so true.
Yeah,
it's so true.
It's so fun.
And then all of this is custom packaged, because I was like, this is what I want. And I've got one shot to do what it is I really want. And I wanted a mascara that wouldn't roll off your vanity.
That makes sense.
And then when you hold it also, it just has such a nice feel in your hands.
Yeah.
It's got a great weight, but it's also ergonomic.
And a good grip, because you have to remember that this is like a paintbrush essentially. So the grip is so important, how you're holding it. I can't wait to use it.
That's right. But what I learned
we just love makeup.
In this, right.
We just love it.
It's so exciting for me, because in that study that we did of those 2,000 women, the sort of most heartbreaking thing I read was that by the age of 55, most women were quiet quitting mascara. And and it's not that they didn't want to wear it. It's just they were like, it doesn't work for me anymore. I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
Yeah.
And I was like, you're not doing anything wrong. It's just that your makeup is not keeping up with you. The mascara isn't keeping up with you. And so that's really like what I went to solve. Was the mascara situation. And I started talking then anecdotally to a lot of my friends, to my mother, to my sister-in-law, and having conversations, asking them, are you using mascara? And when they said no, a lot of them said no. Not all of them, but a lot of them did say no. And I was like, why not? And they're like, because it's just smudging under my eyes.
Yeah, my mom has given up on it.
Right.
She's good.
Right.
Yeah.
You have to give her this, because so what I did was I started with a tubing formula, which does not come off with oils. And what I realized after talking to all these women and looking at the data, what they were blaming the mascara, but that wasn't actually where the problem started. The problem started with the fact that they loved a mascara when they were in their 30s, this volumizing, fabulous mascara when they have tons of lash, right?
Yeah.
And that's giving the optical illusion of more lash using little balls, right?
Right.
Then you fast forward 20 years, you're still using that mascara because you're like, I love it.
Right.
Right.
And you think it's like it made my lashes amazing.
Right.
Why wouldn't it make these lashes amazing?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But then you are like my age. You have fewer lashes, okay? Then those little balls that used to go in between your thick lash and make it just look like a heavier fringe are now apparent.
Right.
Right? So it doesn't even look great. But on we plow. And and yet we've, in that 20 years, we've added probably an eye cream because we've gotten drier around the eyes. That has oils that often don't penetrate. They sit on top.
Right.
Added a concealer that was more moisturizing, right? More coverage, more oils, and those things were acting as a makeup remover on this traditional mascara.
Interesting.
So I went all the way back to the beginning, and I was like, okay, first I'm going to create an amazing eye cream that really penetrates, firms, does all the things that you want it to do on that delicate skin, but actually penetrates and doesn't sit on top. And then a concealer that is thin, but doesn't crease, that holds its polymer and sets. And then the mascara, which is a tubing formula, but it's also volumizing, which was that's the big thing that I'm really proud about with this mascara, because it gives volume, and the volume that it creates is not in this sort of traditional with balls. It's a linear build. So it's almost like if you were to picture like stacking Legos, like in a line. Sort of, that's what it's doing on your lashes. It's a linear build. So it's like this creamy, smooth look that just is gorgeous.
Yeah, I like them separated. I don't like clumps.
Right.
I'm really excited for this.
Yeah.
And because I feel like everyone has their favorite mascaras. It's not really something that people.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that is mascara something that people try out a bunch of different ones?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
They definitely do. It is one of the things that, women will always be looking for something.
The next.
And what I've realized, I've been going into Sephora stores because we just launched there in September, and it's so fun. Just talking to women. I've been asking them, what kind of mascara do you like? And they'll be like, oh, I don't know. I just use like whatever everybody's talking about. And I said, are you familiar with a tubing mascara? And a lot of them have no idea that that's really where they should be starting.
Yeah, I had no idea. Yeah. And I feel very versed in like the beauty industry and products that are coming out. So I'm really excited for this. And I'm really excited for you. So you're at Sephora.
Yes,
and
we're at Sephora.
That's so exciting.
Yeah, I'm going to Century City this afternoon.
Let's go. Okay. And then where else can everyone find you?
So they can find us on Sephora.com and then also on sarahcrealbeauty.com.
Okay, amazing.
That's where we are.
Amazing.
So, and it's just, thank you for having me
Oh
today,
my God,
this
my
was so
pleasure.
Fun. It's fun to talk to you.
It's so fun. I mean, I love makeup. Like when I actually have the time to do it.
Yes.
And I have noticed that like makeup has gotten a lot better, honestly. Like it has gotten a lot better. And you're probably a lot to thank for that.
God. Oh,
yeah.
Thanks.
But it hasn't for our demographic.
No.
So this is definitely like filling a gap. And I was really excited when I heard about it because I was like, how has this not already been done?
I know.
It's like one of those things where you hear about Uber and you're like, wait, why wasn't this already invented? You know what I mean?
No, the fact that this is trailblazing in 2024 is insane.
It really is insane. But I also think it does make sense with the time, as inclusive beauty is obviously so important and become more of a focus as it should be.
Yes.
But you got to start somewhere, and you're starting it. So I'm really excited.
And drawing the line, a lot of investors also at the beginning, they were like, okay, like I know you want to talk to like these women 40 plus, but like it could be for everybody, right? And I'm like,
no,
you're missing the entire point. Like I am telling you as a product developer, this is a real need. It's not a marketing thing. It's not a made up thing. It's really a need. And
it's a large portion of your life too. It's not like 40 plus is like still a lot of customer. Like I remember when I was working with a company that had a product for just, I think it was like prenatal or something very specific, like that I understood. I was like, oh, this is hard to get behind. Women are only at this phase at so many times in their life, blah blah. But that argument is like, no,
I know,
nonsense.
No, it's a huge amount of your life, and I have found it's really like my most exciting part of my life.
Yeah. I think it's when, for me, it's I'm starting to feel more and more confident each day. And it sounds cheesy because I've heard 40-year-old women say that, but there is something so much lighter about how much less I care and how this stuff is like really for me.
Right.
It's not for anybody else. Like my love for beauty and fashion and whatever that could look frivolous is like fun and a creative outlet for me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I always say that this brand is much more about fuck it than fear.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. I love that. Okay, I feel like I think I got everything. What is next on the horizon for you? Like any products that you're developing at the moment? I'm sure
God.
a million.
A million.
Yeah.
A million.
Yeah.
I mean, I just have so many places that I want to go.
I'm sure.
From that research, I can tell you, like the big challenge is the eye area. So I'm very busy working on a lot of different things there.
Eyes. Okay,
I'm working,
amazing.
Yes, but I'm working
eyebrows
on,
was what I was going to say.
Eyebrows.
My mom's
Huge.
eyebrows.
Right. Where did they go?
Well, not only that, but like the consistency of them is all different. It's like 3 of them are super coarse,
Yes.
and I'm like, where did these come from? You don't even
Right.
have coarse hair.
Right.
And then some of them are gray, and then some of them are black, and
Yes.
then I mean, she needs like maintenance, obviously,
Yeah.
but
Yes.
like she has let them
know,
go
I know.
natural, and she,
Yeah.
she needs help. She needs, and I tried to use. Something that's easy to apply because
Right.
I'm really like eyebrows are I save them to the last
Yes.
because they're the hardest thing for me to do.
Yeah.
So something easy to apply
Yes.
for. You've got it all figured
That's-
out. I don't need to tell you what to
you
do.
know what? I have a really good friend that worked for me at Estee Lauder. Sorry.
No, you're fine. You're good.
And so I had this really good friend who worked, she's a really good friend now. She was then also. We have worked together on and off for 20 years in product development. And she's younger than I am, but she had cancer. And she lost a lot of her eyebrows. And I actually had dinner with her last night. And she's no longer doing product development, but she's a genius product developer. So I had sent her all of these different iterations of what I'm conceiving of for the brow.
eyebrows, yeah.
Yeah. And I just sent it to her, and I was like, can you just look at this and do what you would do, because
Play around a little bit,
because
yeah.
she had said to me, she's like, the real issue she said, I think as you get older is losing your brows, which I've experienced also. She said, but it's also for women like me who have gone through chemo and lost a lot of their brow hair. So now, I had this dinner with her last night, and she's like, we actually need to have a full conversation about
this
this
product. I
because
know.
She's like, because I have a lot of different formulas that I'm working on and different ways of achieving this type of brow, depending
amazing.
on what where are you starting? Where
Yeah.
are you starting? Are you starting with like unruly brows, like you're describing with
My mother,
Are
yeah.
are you starting with like no brows?
Right,
Like
right.
my friend.
Right.
So,
Because as women,
yeah.
it's not only age, it's all sorts of hormonal changes and
That's
then
it.
health things that are affecting us as we're aging
That's
too,
right.
that we have to face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
That's
but it's got to
amazing.
be, again, I always go back to the consumer. People ask me like, what's the competitive brand
Right.
to
Like,
you?
who are you competing against?
And,
yeah.
and there are a lot of people doing great things. Like, Bobbi Brown's doing amazing stuff with Jones Road, and Gucci Westman with Westman Atelier. These are all just superstar brands and wonderful women. But this brand is really about, for me, it's not my point of view of what I think you need. It's really her telling me, what does she need? And then I'm taking my product development 30 years experience and focusing
and making
on
it for her.
solving that
Yes.
problem. Yeah.
Yes. That makes so much
So
sense.
that's what I'm working on with the brow, which is why I'm not like, it has to be like this.
Yeah.
I want to hear from this woman who has no brows, what is it? How are you going to best be able to build this brow
Completely.
in a consumer-friendly way?
Completely.
Something that's not overwhelming to you.
Like utilizing the community and really
Yes.
talking to them and having it be like a back and forth as opposed to
Yes.
like, here's my new launch of what I think is hot right
Yeah,
now. And
exactly.
not that you would ever say that, but yeah.
But just having people, I love when people DM me. I read
Yes.
all of the DMs
Yes.
in our social.
Well, I'm here for it if you ever
Yeah.
want to send me anything.
great.
Yeah, and
I
I,
would
want to
love
see your
that.
deck too because I'm
Yes.
like I think I think it's really amazing.
Thank you.
And the fact that no one else is doing it for 40 plus, like I think it's really important. I think people are going to start. I think you're starting this, but as this generation of millennials who started their own brands
Yes.
are becoming 40-year-olds, these brands are going to start to pop up. So I think I think it's amazing.
Yeah. Do you know 50% of millennials will be 40 by 2028?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, having these investor, meetings and stuff at the beginning where they were like,
I know, but we're on our phone. I'm an older millennial, and we're on our phones, and we're like, you can still market to us if you have the right product.
Right. The right product.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have
This
the best
was really
time
a
in
pleasure.
LA.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it.
Oh my God, same. I'm so excited to try all this. Thank you guys so much.